Bianca Williams podcast. I'm your host, Bianca, and I'm going to get into some stuff today because my heart, I don't know, it's just on my mind. So this year I am turning 40, and probably by the time you see this, I will have just turned 40. And some of the things I wanted to talk about is just my journey getting to this place and why it's so meaningful for me. So get into it with me. If this is your first time being on my podcast, checking it out, welcome. I definitely encourage you to check out other episodes. I'm always sharing different self-growth tips. I've also had some amazing guests that have shared their stories, who have interviewed and have offered some just beautiful tips for life and just ways to look at life or try some new things or just learn something. So check that out, subscribe, share your feedback, all of the above. And I'm actually on YouTube. The Bianca Williams podcast is on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast. So check me out. So today I told you guys I'm going to be talking about my 40th and why it's so important to me. And what I'll say in the simplest way is that 40 has just been a theme number in my life for family, because I have dealt with some significant grief over the years, and I pretty much lost both of the people that raised me, both of them in their 40s. They never made it out their 40s. And I kind of feel like those years that they were in their 40s was kind of like a decline for them. And so I really want to honor so much that they've been able to bring to my life, and just some of the values that they've instilled in me, and maybe even wanting to learn from some of their journeys so that I can look at 40s as a journey to enjoy and to embrace in a healthy way. In addition to losing some family members that didn't make it out of their 40s, I also lost a family member that didn't make it into their 40s. And so that just hit me very hard, and life is short, and you just don't know when time is up. But just wanted to make sure that you are intentional about living a life that is meaningful, is rewarding, that you feel blessed in, that you're a blessing to others, that you leave your mark, you have some kind of impact. And so for those reasons, this has been such a meaningful birthday year for me, and I just reflected in a way that I want to be able to bring something new to it. So one of the things that I think about with milestone birthdays in general is it's just a time for reflection. It's a time to really embrace new things, set some new goals, all of that kind of stuff. And, you kind of have crossed this hurdle of the past 10 years or your decade in a sense. And so it just opens up some new perspective. You get to kind of reflect on your journey over that past 10 years. Maybe think about what you would like the journey to be for the next 10 years. And so that's a big part of why, milestone birthdays are in general important. But also significantly for me, I think that I am at a place where, y'all, I am just in my self-care bag. I am just in my doing me bag. And as you know, self-care is really about fueling your soul, being able to create balance in your life, seek out opportunities for peace, and essentially live a very healthy lifestyle. And so for me, self-care, while you think about what do I need to do for myself, and you think about things like, I want to treat myself, I want to take myself out, I want to have new experiences, I want to slow down, all of those types of things. You also want to consider things that you don't want to do when it comes to self-care, things that you feel could allow you to chip away at your health if you do certain things. And so thinking about, what you're putting in your body, drinking, smoking, things like that, what spaces you're allowing yourself to be in. One thing that I know that I have always struggled with, and I really recognized this when I became older, is not knowing how stress shows up for me. Because I'll just go, do, and just keep on moving. And then my body will tell me at some point, like, girl, you stressed out, stop. You cannot keep doing this. And so I think also, when I think about self-care and stop doing things, being intentional about, like, when I go into certain spaces, when I do certain kind of interactions, what am I willing to, what kind of stress am I willing to invite into my space? Because I do know that, stress can be picked up on some of the best experiences and then some of the worst experiences. And if I'm gonna choose, obviously I'm gonna choose something that aligns with my purpose, that fuels me, that I feel like I'm, gaining from in some way, spiritually, or, for some people it could be also financially, or it could be intrinsic. Like sometimes, it's just because I want to make somebody else feel good, and it just makes me feel good to be able to give back in certain ways. And so those are things to think about too when it comes to self-care, what you're doing, but also what you're not doing. So for this year, some things that I'm being more intentional about, is embracing positive relationships, friendships, nurturing relationships and friendships, to just, have a strong support system. So this is something about me in friendships and relationships. I don't expect anybody to wear all of the hats of what I need. So when it comes to, I have friends that I can just kick it with. I love that. And then I have friends that I could just handle some business with. You know what? I love that. I would rather use people and benefit from their strengths, and also, want people to benefit from my strengths as well, than to put the pressure on anybody to be everything. So I think this year I'm definitely about strengthening and embracing healthier relationships. I'm also doing self-care adventures. So sometimes that can be taking trips by myself, trying different things, basically getting out of my comfort zone to enjoy new experiences that I've been thinking about probably for some time, and now I don't want to be in my own way about it. Like I said, life is short. Everybody don't get a chance to fully enjoy these experiences, and so I just want to be intentional about making sure that, as life I'm also making sure that I'm enjoying the ride along the way. And so definitely having some self-care adventures and things like that I'm just leaning into and not holding back on this year. In this decade, investing into different things. Family is big with me. As you guys know, I'm definitely a person who loves my family, and in some ways very, very, very present in different spaces for everybody's journey. And so continuing to enjoy that, nurture that, expand upon that, allow, things to just unfold as they will. And again, just embrace the journey. I think I am letting go of feeling like it has to be a certain way for it to be right. Like, no, there's some reward in the mystery of things. And so, and if you just want to truly be present in that, and embrace that it's going to be different than sometimes you think it should be, and that's okay. There's some benefits to that. So yeah, family too. One of the things that I have come to recognize in life is that we move through different phases, and in those phases, priorities shift some, goals shift some, and I feel like 40 is going to be a really nice journey. So I talk about this sometimes, so I'm going to share this. But I feel like when you're in your 20s, there's this like, oh my gosh, I'm finally an adult and I can do all of these adult things. But a lot of learning takes place in your 20s. You really just don't have it together because, in a lot of ways, there's a lot of firsts that happens. And there's a lot of mistakes that happen. And don't be ashamed of making mistakes in life, because as I've learned, mistakes is kind of how you learn from life. And so you kind of, have to move through it. But your 20s is definitely a lot of that. I feel like as you get into your 30s, or you're moving closer to your 30s, you start to kind of have these different focus of like, what should be happening family-wise, what should be happening, stability wise, should I buy a house? Should I get married? Should I do all of these things? And some people obviously do those things in their 20s too, so this is not shading anybody. But I do think like there's just kind of this sense of, okay, I got to get it together in my 30s and I got to be responsible and mature and all of these different things. And so a lot of growth happens in your 30s. But the 40s, you've lived this. You've had these experiences. You've learned your lessons. You've had a lot of the news and the growth and the just adventures of all of the things that you have been moving towards. For the most part, there's still definitely a lot. But by your 40s, I just feel like there's a certain level of freedom and, okay, I can let go and just enjoy it a little bit. And I think that's where I am. I see this with a lot of people in their 40s, and I just feel like they have tapped into a level of freedom that I just can't wait to experience. And so I'm looking forward to that. And I just think it gets better, as you age. So I'm not stopping there, but I'm just looking forward to that. And being free and living life and rediscovering myself and enjoying it. That's a big part. One of the things that I realized about 40 is that you just really don't know what's in store for your life. And I feel really, really blessed, really, really fortunate to have had the life that I've had so far. And I just can't help but reflect on when I was just a little girl. And when you think about your future, you have a childhood version of your future, right? Like, I think I thought about going to college and I don't even think I wanted kids when I was little, stuff like that. Maybe thinking about moving away, but I don't even know like the depth of my childhood version of what I wanted for adulthood. But what I will say is that now I realize that I have accomplished all of my childhood dreams, and it's a beautiful thing. It actually makes me feel a little bit emotional to think about that, because there's things that I've accomplished that I didn't even think were possible for me as a child, and I'm just really, really, really happy and glad to see that so much is possible, and that even if you can't see it, so much is possible. And so that's why I lean so much into letting go and letting life, kind of move the way it's supposed to. Because when you do, so many different things become, you can see different things that you just wouldn't have the foresight to recognize are in your path. And you can receive it, right? Like if you let go, you can receive it. Because sometimes when you hold on too tight to what you think should be, you miss it. You miss things. You let things pass you up. You push things away. And some stuff just doesn't work out the way it could. So I'm just really, really glad to be able to sit here and talk to you guys about 40. And it means so much to me. With that being said, definitely share your feedback. If you had a milestone birthday or you're going into a milestone birthday, I'd be glad to hear what you have to say. Of course, subscribe and check out other episodes of the Bianca Williams podcast.